Thank you, YRs. You know I love the YRs and all the good work. Thank you, Rick. Thanks for your whole team. And we're now just hours away from what I think is the most crucial election in our lifetime. And I know you've all worked hard. I know we're all getting tired, but now's not the time to slow down. You could have spent your Saturday morning in bed, and instead you're here. You're here for a reason, because you know how important this election is and what's at stake. And there's a lot at stake in this election. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for what you're going to do today and over the next 72 hours to make sure we have a great election day. I want to recognize some folks who are here in attendance today. They're running themselves. We have State Representative Kristen Phillips Hill, who's running for Senate. State Representative Dawn Kiefer. I didn't see Dawn, but there she is. Hi, Dawn. And State Representative Greg Rothman. State Rep. You have the best looking state representatives here in Europe. I was talking about Dawn and Kristen. Katie Plum. Do we have another state? Oh, Katie. Oh, yes. Katie, thank you for being here. Katie, thank you. Is Keith here? Yeah. Right there. Here's Keith. Nobody comes and says hello. You just know about. Thank you for being here, Keith. Good luck to you.
Got any Senate candidates here? State Senate?
Rep candidate.
Or rep, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Mike Jones?
Mike, how are you, Mike? Everybody say hello to Mike Jones. Mike, thank you for being here.
I have four.
And we've got our York County Chairman here, Jeff Picola, who's a hero of mine. So everybody knows that Young Republicans are near and dear to my heart. Having started as a YR in 1986, I tell everybody, don't do the math. I'm older than I look. Greg Rothman and Greg's about the same age, so we started out a long time ago. And we've got a great YR leader who's helped us expand the size of the Young Republicans by threefold since I was elected, and he was elected chairman at the same time, Rick Lockery. And it's a great, in a number of ways. They're a great strike force. They're always there when you need them to help us with the doors. And they've made, they're approaching 1 million voter contacts. Have we hit 1 million voter contacts this year? 1 million voter contacts. Imagine that, just from YRs alone. That's right. 75 of them now on state committee, a real force, not just for the future, but for the present, the YRs are. And I couldn't be more pleased with the great work they're doing and how proud I am of Rick Lockery's leadership. Our statewide Young Republicans got the National Young Republican chapter of the year from the National Federation of Young Republicans, and Rick was awarded the prestigious Olmsted Award for exceptional leadership by the National Federation of YRs. So I want to thank you for Rick, and with that, I'm going to ask Rick Lockery to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Val. Thank you for your leadership. We would not be where we are today without you, that's for sure. I do want to thank my predecessor, Scott Perry. He was the state YR chairman a few years ago. I do appreciate the fact that we won Best State Federation of the Year this year, but he did get to Congress, so I think he ups me on that. So you're still ahead of the game. I want to thank all the YRs for coming out, specifically the York County Young Republicans and CJ for all the work you do, putting this together, as well as everything all year long. As Val said, we've already hit 1 million contacts in Pennsylvania this year, which is an incredible feat. We've been working all year long. Last year, we spent the entire year expanding the organization and building our infrastructure so that we could reach that milestone of 1 million voter contacts this year. And by election day, we're going to blow past that. So thank you all. I want to thank the Lancaster County Young Republicans for being here. Eric, thank you, my statewide co-chair. I also want to thank the Cumberland County Young Republicans and the Dauphin County Young Republicans who will be meeting us out in the field today. So Val, thank you again. Appreciate all your help.
Thank you. Thanks, Rick. So we all know what happened this year when 5 political activists disguised as Supreme Court justices in black robes decided to take power from our legislature and redraw seats. And notwithstanding that and that power grab, we are undeterred. One of the casualties of that district was the 10th Congressional District, which went from R plus 29 to R plus 9. And only through judicial mandarin can you get to that spot. And the Supreme Court did it well. But despite that, we're working hard, and our candidate is working hard. Scott Perry is a great congressman, a great leader in the United States Congress. Democrats think they can run the Connor Lamb playbook, which is you run somebody who professes to be a moderate and says he won't vote for Nancy Pelosi, but then votes with Nancy Pelosi almost 90% of the time. But we know the truth in this race. Our candidate, Scott Perry, is running against a sort of dyed-in-the-wool progressive who said that constitutional rights need to be limited, who burned a gun in one of his TV ads, wants to destroy Medicare as we know it by implementing a Medicare for All plan that would cost Pennsylvania taxpayers $24,000 a year for the next 10 years, and implement just another step in the road to socialism here in the United States. But what they don't know, what we all know, is that Scott Perry is a fighter, and Scott Perry doesn't know how to lose. He knows what it's like to build himself up using the freedoms that we have in this country. He's truly an American success story. Former brigadier general, small businessman and entrepreneur, and a strong voice for the America First agenda and for the economic boom that's happening in this country. And look what just happened yesterday, the announcement, 250,000 new jobs, including I think it was 32,000 new manufacturing jobs. You remember when they told us, when Barack Obama told us those jobs were gone and never coming back? Remember when they said we couldn't get to 3% growth? Now we're at 3% growth 2 quarters in a row, 4.2 last quarter. So Scott Perry understands that. We have a decision now, and the beauty, if you're in the 10th Congressional District, is you have the ability to do something to stop Nancy Pelosi and their agenda, which would destroy all the good work we do. So we have that power by making sure we do everything we can to send a great leader and a good man and a great American back to Congress, our friend Scott Perry. Scott, what you think?
Save your energy because you're going to need it. Thank you. And by the way, we are not tired. I'll tell you, the closer it gets and the more they throw, the just more dedicated and invigorated and inspired I get. So, and I think you feel the same way, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, very much.
I am privileged to be in your presence. Thanks. We really are. Anybody that's ever done, whether it's the YRs or the CRs or the party, we need good leaders to come after, and keep this thing going and make it better. So we're just so proud of you and happy for the work. And look, this is your country. This is all of our country, and you talk about some of the numbers. Val talked about some of the numbers. Just think about it this way. We got to report 250,000 new jobs just reported, right? Nancy Pelosi just gave my opponent another $250,000 to run TV, right? This is your country. You can either have a Nancy Pelosi vision and a George Scott vision of socialism. He says he's a moderate, and even the Democrat Party is changing dramatically. It's not. I go to church with a bunch of old-time Democrats who voted for John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy would not be allowed in their party right now. He would not, and he would not stand for any of the things that they stand for. And so that's the vision of the two different futures: a vision of resist or results, of litigation or legislation, of this chaos that you see. People try and go and have a meal, and or they're out on the street and they get yelled at, and their free speech is imposed upon. People literally walking up to you and whispering that I'm going to vote for Republicans, or whispering that I'm a Republican because they're afraid to say it. That's the vision of the other side. Our vision is happening right before your very eyes. Employment is up. Unemployment is at record low levels. Freedom is up. The less the government is regulating you, the more you're free. Freedom is up. Wages are up. This is America. We want to be able to do better. Not only the next generation, but the current generation we're in. Our hostages are home, and we didn't have to pay billions of dollars. The embassy is in Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. The trade deals are all being redone so that America is first. This is an easy choice if voters hear it. The problem is that, me, Lloyd, even coming down to the state races, the state House and Senate races, all this outside money from California, from New York pouring in with a different message, I was watching, I don't get to watch much TV, but I watched a little last night, the evening news, 4-1, ads against me, 4-1. So if they're hearing that, while they're washing the dishes, while they're getting their kids ready for bed, they might start believing it's true. Right? They might start believing it's true. You just hear it, if a lie's told enough, it becomes the truth. The difference is that it's not the truth, and the difference is that while Nancy Pelosi's got another $250,000 to throw at me or Lloyd or any one of you, they don't have you. And she's not here, right? She's not. Well, I almost wished. Well, I'll leave that up. You go into somebody's door, you go in to see your neighbors, your friends. They don't know me, but they know you. They trust you, and so what you say is going to make a difference to them. So when you go tell them, hey, look, here's the choice, think about this. And they'll say, well, I don't like what the president said. I don't like the way he said it. Nothing personal. Probably not going to meet the president. How's your life? How's your life right now? You don't like the job you have? You can go get another one today. Like this minute, you can go get another job, doing what you want to do, and by the way, probably making more money. How is your life right now? That's what's important. We just need to remind everybody about that. And you also probably need to remind them that most of what they're seeing on TV is a lie, right? I support a balanced budget amendment. That means that the other side can say that Perry would vote to cut Social Security and Medicare. It's absurd, right? It's absurd, but that's what they're gonna say, and nobody's gonna challenge them except for us, right? We have to. So that's what we can, each of us do, and I appreciate that you're here this morning. I know you're gonna be on the street. You know what? I will be right out there with you. We'll be doing this together for right through Tuesday. We're not tired. I'm not tired at all. I'm invigorated. I believe in the country, and I'm not going to let the socialists and the leftists take it over, and I know you're not either. God bless you.
Well, I'm a little tired. Is that all right to say?
I'm not tired.
You're not tired? Good. I'm getting old, though. Another sort of casualty in the Supreme Court's redistricting was a seat that they made a little weaker was Lloyd Smucker's congressional district. And one of the casualties for me personally is that they moved him out of Chester County. I loved having Lloyd in Chester County. And but I did tell Lloyd that don't be a stranger. We'd love to continue to support you there. Another pro-growth, pro-business, pro-solutions Republican that will continue to deliver on the Republican agenda and the American First agenda that has us winning again. Lloyd's another small businessman, as so many of our candidates are, and you really can see the distinction between our candidates and theirs. Our candidates have created jobs, signed the front of a check, understand what it's like to create wealth and prosperity, and Lloyd is no exception to that. He was a small businessman that attended college part-time so that he can keep an eye on his company. He wants to keep the economic engine going and to make sure Americans keep more of their hard-earned money. In the state Senate, he worked hard on focusing on 21st century jobs and providing incentives for people to go into careers in the trades and other high-paying jobs. He wants strong borders, unlike his opponents. He's a congressman who understands the need to work toward a comprehensive solution that respects legal immigration, but stops things like the alien mob, I'll call it, that's heading this way as they're waving flags of their countries to storm our borders. Congressman Smucker believes in the repeal of Obamacare, but wants to work to make sure that pre-existing conditions are protected and that those under 26 can stay on their parents' health insurance. He's a strong supporter of the American First agenda, unlike his opponent, another socialist who wants to have socialized medicine and does not have any respect for our borders. And that's really part of the distinction in this election. Isn't really about that. A socialist agenda versus an agenda that's creating jobs, it's raising our wages, and an agenda that doesn't protect our borders. And America's not a country if we don't have borders. And Lloyd Smucker understands that. He's a great congressman. He's been a great friend. He's going to get reelected by big numbers, I'm sure. He needs your help. Come on up, Lloyd.
Thank you very much. Good to be here, Val. Thank you so much for your leadership of the state party. Val and the state party have been excellent partners with our campaign throughout this entire campaign season, and so we want to thank you. You've helped in so many ways, and we really appreciate that. The YRs, you really are the heart and soul of the Republican Party here in Pennsylvania. You are responsible for a lot of the folks who are in office today, and I can't tell you how energizing that is to all of us to see everyone out here this morning, to see how much you've been involved in my campaign and in Scott's campaign. Rick, thank you for your leadership. We're incredibly proud of the work of our Pennsylvania YRs. You know, I've always thought that as Republicans we have better ideas. We have better ideas about how to get this economy moving. We have better ideas about how to lift people out of poverty. We have better ideas about keeping our nation strong, about the security of the American people. I don't know there's at any point in recent history where that is highlighted better than what's occurred in the past 2 years. I mean, think about it. What's not to like about the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years, the lowest African American unemployment rate ever, the lowest Latino unemployment rate ever, the lowest women's unemployment rate ever, consumer confidence at a 40-year high, 2 new Supreme Court justices that are going to follow the law rather than making their own. Think about what's been accomplished in the past 2 years. I'm excited to have been part of that. And again, the ideas that we've been advancing, the ideas of the Republican Party, that really comes down to what we believe in, who we believe in. Over the past 2 years, we have implemented policies because we believe in you. We believe in the American people and not in government, not in bigger government is the answer. In my case, from the minute I was elected, had a strong group in this district that has their number one goal is to ensure that I don't get reelected. Their number one goal is to advance radical socialist policies. Literally, founders of the resistance group in our area grew up here, moved to California where he was a professor at Berkeley, came back to see whether they could advance progressive ideas in Trump country, in a place like Lancaster County, wrote a book about how to do it and are advancing that playbook here. So we have a strong resistance group in our area that has very, very different ideas about the direction that we should be taking the country. In fact, you know, I've been in office for now about 10 years, or 12 years really, or 10 years. It will be 12 after the next cycle. So I've run in several, number of campaigns now. Never before have I seen such a stark difference in the direction that we want to take this country. It's a difference of believing in you and believing in freedom and believing in the ingenuity and the hard work ethic of the American people compared to looking to government to take over entire segments of the economy. Think about it. They want the federal government to run the entire healthcare industry. American healthcare providers are known to lead the way in innovation all across the world, really. New drugs, new procedures that are saving people's lives are coming out of the American free enterprise system in healthcare. Imagine what would happen to that if we were relying on government to run that. I mean, do you think we ever would have developed a pacemaker if the U.S. government had been running our healthcare system? Think about that. So what we're talking about is not only the quality of life for our kids and our grandkids, but we're talking about a very different America. Their ideas for America are very different than ours. So, we've had a great campaign. It's been wonderful. I enjoy campaigns. Scott said he does as well. I enjoy getting out and talking to people all across the district. And I got to tell you, Republicans are fired up. And you're not going to see a blue wave here. You're going to see Republicans coming out because they know that this election is about the future of the country. And so I'm looking forward to a big win, not only in my district, in Scott Perry's district, but for Republicans across the country. I think you're going to see it. And it's really, again, due to the work that all of you have been doing. Thank you for being here. I'm looking forward to a great day today. We're going to run this thing right through to 8 o'clock on Tuesday night. And look forward to celebrating a victory with all of you after that. Thanks.
Now, you're blessed in York County to have a great chairman, and when I worked in the state senate as a staffer, I looked up to one of the leaders there, and that was Jeff McCall. Jeff served with such integrity there. He was a thought leader. He was chairman of the education committee at the time, and now to get to serve with him as he's a county, I was thrilled when he told me he was going to be county chair, and to get to serve with him now is a great honor for me, to be his boss, kind of. So he's scowling at me as I said that. But he's doing a great job. You have a great leader. I want him to come on up and say a few words. Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm looking around the room, and I'm the oldest one here. And I'm offended, because I want baby boomers for Wagner, baby boomers for Perry. So we need those kind of signs. But us old people are still relevant, and we're still around. But I'll tell you, young Republicans, how sweet it is. You guys have gathered here this morning. I forget, one of you told me, I'm not a morning person. I can't be up this early on a Saturday. Well, you are. And you're going to get out and you're going to get that blood flowing. You're going to knock on those doors, and you're going to bring these victories home to the Republican Party at the national level, our congressional candidates, our state candidates, our local state representatives, our state senator, and across the board. I want to just compliment Val DiGiorno. Val, I wasn't involved in your election because I wasn't even involved in the county at that point in time. But I've watched you perform in contrast to performances of the state party in the past. And I have to tell you, you commented about the YRs, and that is a kudos to you for supporting them, and kudos for to them for their success. But across the board, you have modernized the state party. You have given the county parties the ability to tap into resources that heretofore I don't think were available. I'm still mystified about social media. I understand we're live on Facebook or something. Yeah, I'm a baby boomer, so I don't get this kind of stuff. But I'm getting text messages about what we're saying here from people that aren't even here. So it is great to see what you have done with the state party, and we appreciate it here at the local level. And I appreciate the YRs for educating me on how to deal with politics in the modern era. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you. Yeah, we're using email now too. It's really. Well, it's thanks, Jeff. Thanks for all that your county is doing. Great county. We need your county to deliver big numbers for our ticket. And we can't forget about Scott Wagner and how hard he's running, and Lou Barletta. These two guys are working their tails off. And I know we're going to get big numbers for both of them out of York County. Another great county chairman and good friend of mine is here today, Greg Rothman, State Representative Greg Rothman. I've known Greg now for over 30 years. He gets younger and younger looking. I don't know how he does it. He's a great leader for us politically and in the State House. And just has always been there for us when we need him, always been there for me too. And let's give a big round of applause for Greg Rothman.
I lent Congressman Perry some of my gray that I put in the side of the hair. He said, Scott, man, when did you get gray? He said, well, I just haven't had a haircut in a week. So, look, as a former young Republican, I was a national committee man in 1990. And I was thinking about it. That was 28 years ago. Val and I met a few years before that. Scott was the York County chairman at the time of the Young Republicans. I was the Cumberland County, York County chairman. And I don't know if you guys went on this trip, but there were a group of us who went out to Pittsburgh the weekend before the election. And we went out there to help a young woman named Missy Hart, who was running for the state senate, and a 32-year-old attorney from Pittsburgh named Rick Santorum, who was running for Congress. That was 1990, and we did the same type of door-to-door, and both of them won, and we're going to have the same result this Tuesday. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out some of my other colleagues here, just how great it is to work with Don Kiefer, and Katie Klunk, and Keith Gillespie, and Kristen Phillips Hill, who is going to make one great state senator. I've just gotten to know those three and this group of four in the last 3 years that I've been in the State House. But I've known Scott Perry, as he said, since we were really dark hair, and we had the same. I was a Marine at the time, so neither one of us had much hair because we cut it. But you know, when you're going out to work for someone and you're going out knocking doors, it's not easy, and you got to believe in the person you're going to do it for. And let me just tell you, Scott Perry is worth fighting for. And he goes down to Washington and he does exactly what his constituents want him to do. And he fights and believes and does the right thing all the time. And that's, I mean, we know, I'm telling you, I've known him for 30 years. We know Scott Perry. This district knows Scott Perry. Even the people in Dauphin County know Scott Perry from his time in the State House. We don't know anything about George Scott. Do we really know anything about this guy? I've lived in this area all my life. Never heard of him before 6 months ago. What do we really know about George Scott? And so the fact that MoveOn.org is coming to town to campaign for him, or that George Soros is supporting him, or Nancy Pelosi is supporting him, and we have to judge him by the company he keeps, and that company scares me. So get out there today. It's worth it. I'm grateful for the Young Republicans for helping us all out, but get this guy reelected and help Congressman Smucker get reelected, and it's worth your time. And you can sleep on Wednesday. No sleeping on Wednesday. Thank you.
And we've got a great young Republican holding a seat here in the General Assembly right here from York County. Strong leader representing our conservative principles, rising star, and also a new mom. She's got a bright future here in Pennsylvania. I want to introduce everybody to Representative Kate Klunk.
Thank you, Val. All right, are we ready for victory on Tuesday night?
Yes.
All right. Well, I come to rally everyone up. I am what our delegation calls the Spitfire in our delegation. So I'm not the tallest member of the delegation, but I probably bring the most energy. And today it's all about getting out there and knocking on doors. I want to share with you a story about another young Republican who many of you know, Tor Necker, Adams County. He won his primary by 1 vote. Okay, 1 vote. So when people say that your vote doesn't matter, it matters. Each and every one of you here today, you have the chance to make that difference, to inspire somebody to get out to vote. Who knows on Tuesday night if Congressman Smucker or Congressman Perry's race or one of our races is going to be decided by 1 vote. Each and every door that you knock today matters. We need to get Republicans out to vote. My generation, we're the millennials. And we need to get out our folks. We need to get out young people because Pennsylvania is going to be ours. It is ours right now. The socialist policies of Democrats are not working. They're not going to work for us now. They're not going to work for us in the future. The agenda that our president and our delegation is putting forward for freedom, for open economies, for open trade, but fair trade, is really, truly important. I came to know Congressman Perry back in 2012 when he was just a state house member. I knocked on doors with him for many, many Saturdays and came to know him very, very well. He and I went door to door together in my area in Hanover. Unfortunately, we've lost Congressman Perry, but we will be gaining Congressman Lloyd Smucker. He has become a very dear friend. He has been out in my district. I thank you so much. I feel like our area was lost in this Supreme Court decision, and I know that you have made Hanover a top priority, and southwestern York County. We look forward to working with you in Harrisburg and in Washington. We need to get Lloyd elected, we need to get Scott elected, we need to go out there and we need to stop this blue wave. It is not coming here in South Central Pennsylvania. Get out there, knock on doors. We're pushed until Tuesday at 8 o'clock. We're not gonna sleep until then. Let's go.
Okay, so we know what's at stake, we know what we have to do. We're gonna run through the tape. Our closing argument in the last few days is our economy's doing well. We've got a president who's putting America first. We're respected again in the world. Manufacturing jobs are coming back to the United States. People are making more money, wages are going up. And it's time to, or we can go to a party that wants to obstruct, resist, hold impeachment hearings, and repeal the tax cut that Lloyd and Scott and their colleagues put in place. So young Republicans, know that what you're doing matters, not just in terms of the 1 million doors that you've knocked on and voter contacts you've made, but I'll be on Fox News today, and I'll be talking about what young Republicans in Pennsylvania have done as a stark contrast to when I get the call from the media and they want to have me whine over millennials registering as Democrat. I tell them what the young Republicans in Pennsylvania have done, and it's a powerful, powerful talking point. So thank you for what you're doing. Keep up the great work. You're not the future of this party, you're the president of this party. And I couldn't, from the bottom of my heart, could not be more proud and more encouraged by what I see from the YRs and from Rick. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Rick for some deployment instructions, and then we're going to go out and take the day. Thank you all.